Simpson was shot and killed after becoming upset because a woman she held the door open for didn't say thank you.
Simpson's family tells us she was a lovely lady, a pharmacy technician. Her life closed shut over a phrase never spoken and a moment no one can take back.
It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another episode of Hood Tales. In this video, let's take it to Dallas, Texas, to discuss the story of how a simple gesture as holding the door open turned into a fatal altercation. But before we get into this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss any future uploads. Also, this video is sponsored by me, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and my YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. Look out for the link to it in the comments. Stay tuned until the end to hear the full story. Everything in this video is alleged. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. In the busy shopping plazas of Dallas, Texas, where people come and go without thinking twice about their day, one simple act of courtesy would spiral into an unthinkable confrontation. It was supposed to be an ordinary afternoon for 41-year-old Cecilia Simpson and her daughter, a quick shopping trip, nothing more. But what began as a small gesture of kindness, holding a door open, would set off a chain of events that changed two lives forever. Cecilia was a mother, a provider, and a woman known for her strength and strong sense of respect. Friends and family described her as protective and outspoken, the type of person who didn't bite their tongue when something felt wrong. On Tuesday, October 7th, she and her 20-year-old daughter were out shopping together in Dallas's South Oak Cliff neighborhood, running errands, laughing, and enjoying a regular Tuesday afternoon. They stopped by Five Below, a popular discount store located in a shopping plaza alongside PetSmart on West Wheatland Road off Interstate 20. But what was meant to be a lighthearted outing would soon turn tense over a moment so small it's almost hard to believe. As Cecilia and her daughter made their way out of the store, they crossed paths with a young woman later identified as 22-year-old Keona Zachyua Hampton. According to police reports and witness statements, Cecilia held the door open for Keona as a polite gesture. But when Keona walked through without saying thank you, Cecilia reportedly took offense and scolded Keona for not saying thank you. It was a brief exchange, but emotions ran high. Words were exchanged. The tone escalated. What started as a moment of perceived disrespect became a heated argument between two strangers who simply refused to back down. Cecilia and her daughter eventually decided to leave the situation behind. They walked to their car and drove a short distance across the plaza to the nearby PetSmart, hoping to move on with their day. But Keona Hampton wasn't done. According to the arrest affidavit, Keona began walking in the same direction as Cecilia's car, toward PetSmart. Inside the store, Cecilia reportedly told employees that a woman was following her and her daughter. Moments later, Keona entered PetSmart and immediately reignited the argument, this time directing her words toward Cecilia's daughter. Store employees intervened, trying to de-escalate the situation, and Keona eventually left the store. But just minutes later, she came back. Once again, the tension flared between Cecilia and Keona. Voices were raised. Tempers grew hotter. Employees asked both women to leave the store. Outside in the parking lot, surveillance video would later show the situation completely unraveling. Cecilia and her daughter began getting into their car, trying once again to put distance between themselves and the confrontation. But Keona, now visibly agitated, allegedly threw a drink bottle at their vehicle. That was the final straw. Cecilia stepped out of the car to confront Keona face to face. Witnesses said the argument quickly turned physical. The two women began fighting, yelling, shoving, and swinging as onlookers started to gather. Cecilia landed a few good punches on Keona. According to police documents, Cecilia's daughter stepped away from the fight momentarily. That's when Keona allegedly reached for a black and silver weapon. 3 shots rang out. Cecilia fell to the ground as her daughter screamed for help. A 27-year-old ER nurse who happened to be leaving PetSmart that day heard the commotion and ran toward the sound of shots fired. She saw the 2 women on the ground, one walking away, the other motionless. She immediately began performing CPR, doing everything in her power to save Cecilia as the distraught daughter clung to her mother's side, crying out her name. Despite her efforts, Cecilia could not be revived. She was transported to Methodist Central Hospital, where doctors confirmed the tragic outcome. Meanwhile, Keona fled the scene in a black Ford 500. Dallas police quickly launched an investigation, reviewing surveillance footage that captured the moments after the shooting. They traced the black Ford 500 to its registered address and began surveillance at a nearby apartment complex. Within hours, officers spotted Keona standing on a balcony, still wearing the same clothes seen in the footage. Later that evening, around 7:45 p.m., officers conducted a traffic stop on her vehicle. Keona was taken into custody and brought to Dallas Police Headquarters for questioning. During her interview, Keona waived her rights and admitted to arguing with Cecilia and her daughter, following them into PetSmart twice, and throwing a bottle at their car. She also admitted to firing the weapon, but insisted she only did it because she was trying to get Cecilia away from her. Authorities weren't convinced. She was booked into the Dallas County Jail, charged in connection with the fatal shooting, with bond still pending. Keona Hampton is innocent until proven guilty. This tragedy is one that leaves people stunned, not just because of what happened, but why it happened. A simple misunderstanding, a moment of pride, emotion, and anger spiraled into irreversible actions. 2 strangers whose paths crossed for mere seconds now represent a painful lesson about impulse, pride, and the dangers of carrying weapons into everyday disputes. May Cecilia Simpson rest in peace. My condolences to her family. Cecilia lost her life standing up for what she believed was basic respect. And Keona Hampton, just 22 years old, now faces the weight of a decision made in seconds, one that will follow her for the rest of her life. Both families are forever changed. When did simple disagreements start ending with shots fired? Sometimes all it takes is one moment, one choice to change everything. And in this case, a small act of courtesy became the spark that ended in tragedy. May this story serve as a reminder: not every slight deserves a reaction, not every argument deserves escalation, and not every battle needs to be fought. Fam, I'm going to leave the rest up to you. What are your thoughts on this tragic situation? Let me know in the comments below. Alright fam, that's it for this episode of Hood Tales. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, consider liking and sharing. Subscribe for more stories like this and for the stories behind the headlines, because behind them all are lives forever changed. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony Two Times. Until next time.